on a cold, gloomy day when hope seemed distant. An unexpected sight on a quiet street sparked a chain of events that would touch millions of hearts. A loyal dog lying motionless on the pavement soon became the center of a rescue that showed the true power of compassion. In a modest neighborhood lived a gentle man named Amir, whose warm smile had hidden the pain of a serious illness. Amir had spent many years cherishing the companionship of his faithful dog Rex. More than a pet, Rex was his constant friend, offering comfort during difficult times. Even as Amir's health declined, their bond grew stronger. One day, as Amir's condition worsened, he was admitted to the hospital. Left alone at home, Rex waited loyally by the door, unaware of the looming danger. The quiet of the house and the chill in the air set the stage for a tragedy that no one could have foreseen. It was a bitterly cold evening in a quiet neighborhood. The fading light of dusk had given way to the deep blue of night, and a steady wind swept through the streets, carrying with it swirling snow and a sense of foreboding. In one modest house at the end of the block lived a gentle man named Amir. Amir had long been known in the community for his warm smile and kind heart, but in recent weeks his smile had grown faint. He had fallen very ill and was now receiving treatment at a nearby hospital. His loyal dog Rex had been his constant companion for many years, a faithful friend who never left his side even in the hardest of times. On this particular evening the quiet of the neighborhood was interrupted by a small, heart-wrenching sight. As the wind howled outside and the temperature dropped even further, one neighbor, Mr. Hassan, noticed something unusual as he walked his own dog along the sidewalk. Mr. Hassan, a kindly man with a deep love for animals, had always admired the bond between Amir and Rex. That day, however, his attention was drawn to a disturbance near Amir's house. There, lying on the cold, hard pavement under a faint glow of a street lamp, was Rex, unconscious and still. Mr. Hassan stopped in his tracks. His heart skipped a beat as he squinted into the night. At first, he wondered if it were merely a trick of the light, but as he stepped closer, he realized that it was indeed Rex. The loyal dog, once full of life and energy, was now motionless. His once bright eyes were closed and his body lay limp as if he had given up on life. The normally playful tail, which would have wagged happily at the sight of a friend, now rested still by his side. Mr. Hassan's hand trembled as he reached out to gently tap Rex's side. When there was no response, his worry deepened into alarm. "This cannot be," he whispered to himself, his voice shaking with concern. He quickly knelt beside the dog, carefully brushing away a few clumps of snow that had settled on Rex's fur. The chill of the snow against his fingers was a stark reminder of the danger that this loyal pet was facing. In the freezing night, as Mr. Hassan examined Rex, he could see that the dog's breathing was very shallow. The rise and fall of his chest was barely perceptible. His normally glossy coat was matted with ice and snow, and his ears, which once perked up at the sound of a greeting, were drooping as if in despair. The neighbor's heart ached as he took in every detail of the poor dog's condition. Rex was not simply resting. He was in a state of crisis. Mr. Hassan quickly rose to his feet, determination setting in. He knew he had to act immediately. Without a second thought, he pulled out his mobile phone and dialed the local emergency veterinarian's number. As he waited for an answer, he could feel the urgency in every passing second. He described the situation in a calm yet urgent voice. "There is a dog lying unconscious outside Amir's house on Elm Street. Fear he is in serious trouble. Please send help immediately. Within moments, the phone operator assured him that a team would be on its way. But Mr. Hassan did not wait. He gently scooped up Rex, wrapping his arms around the cold, fragile creature as if to protect him from the harsh elements. In doing so, Mr. Hassan felt a mix of sorrow and hope, sorrow for the pain that Rex was enduring, and hope that his swift actions might still save a life that had been pushed to the brink. Before long, a small group of neighbors had gathered around, their faces lit by the soft glow of streetlights showed concern and empathy. They whispered among themselves about the loyalty and love between Amir and Rex, recalling memories of the two always seen together in happier times. Some of them recalled how Rex would greet every person with a friendly bark, his tail wagging furiously as if he were happy to see the world. Now, that joyful image was replaced with a scene of quiet despair. One of the neighbors, a young woman named Sarah who lived just across the street, stepped forward. "I have seen Rex many times," she said softly, her eyes filling with tears as she looked at the fragile creature in Mr. Hassan's arms. "He is always so lively, always so full of energy. I never thought I would see him like this." Her words resonated with everyone present, and the air grew heavy with the shared emotion of loss and worry. The sound of distant sirens soon cut through the murmurs, signaling that help was on its way. An ambulance, its red lights flashing in the darkness, pulled up near the gathering. The emergency veterinarian, Dr. Kamal, quickly stepped out, his expression serious as he approached the group. Dr. Kamal was a dedicated animal doctor, known throughout the community for his gentle touch and expertise. He had saved many lives over the years, and now his eyes focused intently on Rex. Dr. Kamal knelt beside Mr. Hassan and gently took Rex from his arms. He examined the dog carefully, his practiced hands feeling for signs of life. "He is barely breathing," Dr. Kamal said, his voice low and steady. "We must warm him slowly and give him oxygen. This dog has been through a great ordeal." His calm words, delivered with a sense of urgency, reassured the neighbors even as they held their breath, watching every move. The veterinarian's team quickly set up a makeshift station on the sidewalk near a parked ambulance. Blankets were spread out, and portable oxygen tanks were brought out. Dr. Kamal carefully placed Rex on a soft blanket and began administering oxygen. Each breath that Rex took was monitored closely. The silence that followed was heavy, broken only by the low hum of the oxygen machine and the occasional sigh from the onlookers. As the minutes stretched on, the community stood together in shared anxiety. Person present felt a deep connection to Rex's plight, as if the dog's pain was their own. They recalled how Amir, despite his own struggles, had always been kind and generous, never hesitating to help someone in need. Now, it was as if the spirit of compassion that Amir had embodied was being passed on to them through Rex. At one point, a little boy tugged on his mother's sleeve and whispered, "Why is Rex sleeping like this? Is he hurt?" His mother knelt down and explained softly, "Sometimes even the strongest among us can become very tired and weak, but the people here are doing everything they can to help him." The child's wide eyes filled with understanding and a small spark of hope. All around, there were whispered prayers and silent wishes that Rex would pull through. Every face in the small crowd showed a mixture of fear and determination. They knew that the coming hours would be critical. Rex was not just any dog. He was a symbol of loyalty, a living testament to the bond between a man and his faithful friend. The thought that Amir, now in the hospital and far away, might one day be reunited with his beloved companion, spurred everyone on. Dr. Kamal continued his careful work, talking to Rex in a low, soothing voice. "Stay with us, dear friend," he said, as if trying to convince the dog to fight for his life. The veterinarian's hands worked quickly, checking vital signs, adjusting the flow of oxygen, and monitoring Rex's temperature. Despite the challenging circumstances, there was a determined optimism in Dr. Kamal's actions. Outside, the storm continued to rage, but the group of neighbors had formed a tight circle around the makeshift rescue station. They shared stories of better times and remembered the moments when Rex had been full of life, chasing after a ball in the park, greeting everyone with his warm, inviting eyes, and snuggling up with Amir during long winter nights. These recollections brought smiles to tear-streaked faces and a renewed resolve to see Rex recover. As the night wore on, the scene remained a mix of professional urgency and community solidarity. Every neighbor, from the oldest resident to the youngest child, felt the impact of this moment. It was as if the entire community had come together to protect one life that represented so much more than just an animal in distress. It was a reminder that even in the harshest of times, compassion and unity could light the darkest of nights. Hours later, after a long and agonizing wait, Dr. Kamal finally gave a small, cautious smile. "There is a sign of life," he announced softly to the group. "Rex has taken a few more breaths now, and his heart rate is beginning to stabilize. He is not out of danger yet, but we have made a good start." The collective sigh of relief that swept through the crowd was almost palpable. Neighbors clutched each other's hands and exchanged hopeful glances. For a few precious moments, the despair of the night lifted, replaced by the promise of recovery. As word of the rescue spread through the neighborhood, more people gathered to offer support. Brought extra blankets, while others shared warm beverages in an effort to create a small haven against the biting cold. The community had transformed from a group of isolated individuals into a tightly knit circle of caring souls, all united by a single purpose: to save Rex's life. Dr. Kamal, now joined by a few other veterinarians from the emergency team, continued to monitor Rex closely. Every little sign of movement was met with cheers and gentle claps from those around. They all understood that this was more than a rescue. It was a reminder that even in the midst of personal and collective struggles, a single act of kindness could spark hope in the hearts of many. In the early hours of the morning, as the storm began to ease and the first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, Rex stirred. Though still weak, he opened his eyes for the first time since being found. Dr. Kamal explained that the slow return of consciousness was a very good sign. "He is fighting," the veterinarian said, his voice filled with quiet satisfaction. "This brave dog is showing us that he still has strength, even after all he has been through." The neighbors, still gathered on the sidewalk, erupted in gentle applause and relieved smiles. Their eyes shone with tears of joy as they realized that their combined efforts had made a difference. It was a moment of triumph, a moment that would be remembered by every person present. The discovery of Rex lying unconscious on that cold pavement had turned into a story of collective hope and perseverance. By the time emergency services transferred Rex to a more secure veterinary facility, The community's spirit had not waned. They had witnessed the unfolding of a small miracle, born from the compassion of strangers who had come together for the sake of one loyal friend. Even as they dispersed to return to their homes, they carried with them the memory of that night when love and determination saved a life. That night, the discovery of Rex in his moment of need reminded everyone that every life is precious. It underscored the belief that even when faced with overwhelming odds, a community united by empathy can overcome adversity. The cold and darkness of the night had given way to the warm glow of human kindness, a beacon that would shine in the hearts of the neighbors for many years to come. And so, in that quiet neighborhood, as the first light of day filtered through the clouds, the story of Rex's discovery became a legend of hope and unity. It was a story that would be told and retold, inspiring millions of hearts, with the message that no one is ever truly alone, and that the smallest act of care can change a life forever. The rescue of Rex had only just begun, after Mr. Hassan and several caring neighbors discovered the loyal dog lying motionless on the cold pavement. The community's attention turned to saving his life. The night was dark and the wind was still howling, carrying icy flakes across the street. In this challenging environment, every minute was precious as a group of dedicated rescuers worked together to help Rex fight for his life. Dr. Kamal, a kind and experienced veterinarian, arrived promptly with his emergency team. They quickly set up a makeshift rescue station right outside Amir's modest home. Neighbors gathered around, their faces lit by the soft glow of street lamps, their eyes filled with concern and hope. Dr. Kamal wasted no time and carefully took Rex from Mr. Hassan's arms. His hands were gentle but sure as he examined the dog, noting the shallow rise and fall of his chest and the frosted fur that clung to his body. "We must warm him slowly and get him oxygen," Dr. Kamal said in a calm, steady voice. His words, though measured, carried the weight of urgency. The rescue team arranged blankets, portable oxygen tanks, and even a small heater. They worked in unison, each member performing their task with care, knowing that every action could be the difference between life and death. Inside the ambulance that soon arrived on the scene, the struggle continued. The interior of the vehicle was transformed into a temporary intensive care unit. Rex was gently placed on a padded stretcher, and the team began the delicate process of re-warming him. They carefully applied warm blankets and administered oxygen through a soft mask placed over his snout. One technician monitored his heart rate and temperature with a portable machine, while another prepared a warm saline solution for intravenous administration. Every beep of the monitor was a reminder that Rex was teetering on the edge. The harsh wind outside and the biting cold made every movement a challenge. The ambulance's windows fogged as the rescuers worked diligently, trying to maintain a balance between too much heat and not enough. Dr. Kamal spoke in soothing tones, urging Rex to hold on. "You are a strong fighter," he murmured, as if his words could bolster the small dog's spirit. The team adjusted the oxygen flow, ensuring that Rex's breathing became as steady as possible. Despite their professional expertise, every member felt the pressure of the situation, knowing that the life of a beloved pet and a piece of the community's heart rested in their hands. Outside the ambulance, the community did not remain idle. Neighbors stood shoulder to shoulder, wrapped in warm coats and scarves, watching anxiously as the rescue unfolded. They shared quiet words of encouragement and recalled fond memories of Rex's playful barks and gentle eyes. A little girl, her eyes wide with both fear and Hope asked her mother. "Will he be all right?" Her mother squeezed her hand and replied, "He is in very good hands. Look at everyone coming together for him." Such moments of shared empathy were powerful reminders that, even in the harshest conditions, kindness could triumph over despair. Inside the ambulance, the rescue team faced further challenges. Rex's condition was critical. His body, ravaged by the cold, was unresponsive to the usual signs of life. The team found that his heart rate was dangerously low, and his temperature remained well below normal. Dr. Kamal and his colleagues knew that they had to act quickly. They repositioned Rex on the stretcher, ensuring that his body was aligned for maximum support. One of the team members began gentle chest compressions when the monitor indicated a further drop in heart rate. It was a tense moment. Every compression was accompanied by silent prayers from those who had gathered outside. Time seemed to slow down. The ambulance's interior was filled with the soft hum of medical equipment, the rhythmic beeping of the heart monitor, and the hushed instructions of the rescue team. Dr. Kamal carefully adjusted the oxygen mask, while another colleague injected a warm fluid solution into Rex's vein. The atmosphere was heavy with a mix of determination and anxiety. Each second was a battle against the relentless forces of nature and the deterioration of Rex's fragile body. As the minutes turned into an hour, the team continued their meticulous work. The temperature inside the ambulance gradually began to rise, and there were small signs that Rex was responding to the treatment. The oxygen levels, carefully adjusted, showed slight improvement. Dr. Kamal took note of every detail, his experienced eyes scanning the readings on the monitor. "His heart rate is stabilizing," he announced softly, offering a ray of hope to everyone present. The team allowed themselves a brief moment of relief, knowing that progress had begun even if it was slow. However, the struggle was far from over. The team then faced the difficult task of transferring Rex from the ambulance to a more fully equipped veterinary hospital. The journey was critical. Rex needed a controlled environment, where advanced care and constant monitoring were available. The rescue team carefully moved him onto a specialized transport unit. Inside this unit, every precaution was taken to ensure that the warming process continued steadily. The same dedicated professionals who had worked tirelessly throughout the night now accompanied Rex on the ride to the hospital, their eyes fixed on the precious life that depended on them. During the journey, the atmosphere in the transport unit was both somber and hopeful. The team reviewed their actions, discussing each step and making adjustments to the treatment plan as they observed small improvements in Rex's condition. The vehicle's soft interior lights illuminated the monitors, and the gentle rise and fall of Rex's chest. Dr. Kamal continued to speak in soft, reassuring tones, as if his words could transfer strength to the weakened animal. "Keep fighting, Rex. We are with you every step of the way," he said, his voice both tender and resolute. Outside the transport unit, the city remained quiet under the early morning sky. The dark hours had given way to the faint light of dawn. The chilly air outside contrasted sharply with the controlled, warm environment within the vehicle. The journey to the hospital, though short in distance, felt like a critical expedition. Every bump in the road and every vibration of the vehicle reminded the team that the struggle for Rex's life was not yet over. At the veterinary hospital, a new team of specialists awaited the arrival of the transport unit. As soon as the doors opened, Rex was transferred carefully to a recovery room that had been prepared in advance. The room was filled with state-of-the-art equipment, yet it retained the same spirit of care and empathy that had defined the rescue attempt. Nurses and veterinarians moved with quiet urgency, each knowing that the small, fragile life before them was a testament to the power of community and compassion. Inside the recovery room, the battle to save Rex continued with renewed intensity. The team set up an advanced monitoring system, and the room's temperature was maintained at a constant, warm level. A dedicated nurse gently placed an additional oxygen mask on Rex, while another colleague adjusted the intravenous fluids to ensure that his body could gradually regain warmth. Dr. Kamal, now joined by the hospital specialists, reviewed the case and explained each step of the treatment to the small group of family members and neighbors who had followed Rex's journey. The struggle was now in a critical phase. The hospital staff worked diligently to raise Rex's body temperature slowly, knowing that too rapid a change could cause shock. They administered a carefully measured dose of medication to support his heart, and each procedure was carried out with the utmost care. The room was filled with the quiet sounds of medical equipment, punctuated by soft conversations and reassurances. The team explained that every small improvement was a victory, a sign that Rex was fighting back against the severe effects of the cold. Outside the recovery room, news of the rescue had already started to spread among the community. Neighbors who had gathered at the scene earlier were now receiving updates by phone and through word of mouth. Every message was filled with hope and admiration for the rescuers' efforts. One elderly woman said, "I have never seen such a united community. We have all come together to save this dear dog, and it shows the strength of our hearts." Her words resonated with everyone, reaffirming that, in times of crisis, empathy and action could overcome even the most desperate circumstances. Back in the hospital, as the hours passed, the tension in the recovery room began to ease ever so slightly. The monitors indicated that Rex's vital signs were slowly stabilizing. Though he remained weak and fragile, the dedicated efforts of the rescue and medical teams had made a measurable difference. Dr. Kamal explained to the assembled family, "He is not out of danger yet, but his body is beginning to respond to the treatment. It is a long road to recovery, but every moment of progress is a testament to the hard work and love that went into saving him." The struggle that had begun on that cold, dark night was now being transformed into a story of hope. The hospital staff took great care to keep the communication open with the family and the community. They provided regular updates on Rex's condition, ensuring that every small improvement was shared with those who had come together to save him. The compassion that had defined the rescue attempt continued to shine through every action taken by the team. Throughout the night and into the early morning, the hospital room became a symbol of resilience. The rescue of Rex was not just a medical emergency, it was a powerful demonstration of how community, empathy, and professional dedication could change the course of a life. The struggles faced by the team, the challenges of maintaining warmth and stability, and the unwavering hope shared by everyone present all contributed to a singular, profound message. Every life is precious, and when we stand together, even the most daunting obstacles can be overcome. As the first rays of the morning sun filtered through the windows, Rex lay quietly on a soft, warm bed. His eyes, once closed in pain, now showed a faint glimmer of determination. The room, filled with monitors and gentle beeps, resonated with the quiet hum of life returning. Dr. Kamal and his team gathered around to take one final look at the progress made during those critical hours. They spoke in hushed tones, reviewing the records and exchanging cautious optimism about the road ahead. The struggle to save Rex had been a long and arduous journey, a journey that tested the limits of medical expertise and human compassion. Every member of the rescue and medical teams, from the first neighbor who discovered him to the specialists at the hospital, had contributed to the fight for his life. It was a struggle, marked by moments of tension and uncertainty, but also by countless acts of kindness and unwavering dedication. In the quiet moments following the intense efforts, the hospital staff allowed themselves to reflect on the deeper meaning of what had just taken place. The rescue attempt had brought out the best in everyone involved. It was a reminder that when faced with adversity, the human spirit can shine through in the most unexpected ways. The collective determination to save a small life had united a community and shown that even in the harshest conditions, hope can prevail. By the time the day fully broke, Rex had reached a point where he could be moved to a step-down recovery unit. The tension in the recovery room gave way to a cautious celebration of progress. Family members and neighbors who had gathered outside the hospital were informed of the good news through heartfelt messages and phone calls. The community rejoiced in the victory of that long night, knowing that their combined efforts had helped a loyal friend survive a dire situation. The struggle to rescue Rex had been filled with moments of uncertainty, difficult decisions, and the constant battle against time and the elements. Yet, it had also been a journey that revealed the depth of compassion within the community and the steadfast commitment of those who worked to preserve life. Every action, from the initial discovery on the cold pavement to the careful monitoring in the hospital, was a testament to the idea that no life should be abandoned to despair. In the days and weeks that followed, Rex's recovery continued at a slow but steady pace. The struggle of that fateful night was never forgotten by anyone involved. It became a symbol of hope and unity, a powerful reminder that even when the odds seem insurmountable, the bonds of community and the dedication of caring individuals can lead to miracles. The rescue attempt was written into the hearts of all who witnessed it, and it served as an inspiration for future acts of kindness and solidarity. Looking back on that challenging night, the story of Rex's rescue was more than a medical achievement. It was a celebration of the human spirit. It proved that when people come together, sharing their love and strength, even the most desperate circumstances can be transformed. The struggle to save Rex was a hard-fought battle, but it was one that ultimately reaffirmed the belief that every living being deserves a chance at life, a belief that can light the darkest nights and warm the coldest hearts. And so, as Rex continued his journey toward full recovery, his survival stood as a living testament to the power of compassion, the importance of community, and the extraordinary efforts of those who never gave up. His rescue was a story that would be told for years to come, a story of hope, resilience, and the enduring strength of the human spirit in the face of adversity. After hours of relentless effort, a small miracle began to unfold. Rex's eyes fluttered open, and his tail, though weak, gave a gentle wag. The veterinary team confirmed that, despite his weakened state, Rex had fought through the crisis. Slowly, with care and nurturing, he started to regain strength. The news of Rex's recovery spread like wildfire. Millions around the world watched as the story of the brave dog, left unconscious because his owner was too ill to care for him, turned into a symbol of hope and resilience. People celebrated the powerful bond between Amir and Rex, and the selfless actions of those who did not hesitate to help. For many, the sight of Rex's recovery brought tears to their eyes, a reminder of the strength found in love and community. Rex was not just a pet, he had become a beacon of hope, a living example that kindness and persistence could overcome even the direst challenges. The rescue served as a powerful message. When we come together with compassion and determination, miracles can happen. In time, Amir recovered from his illness and was joyfully reunited with Rex. Their touching story taught everyone that every life has value, and that even in moments of despair, a small act of kindness can make a lasting difference. As we reflect on this unforgettable rescue, let us remember that love and compassion are forces that can bring hope to the darkest of situations. May this story continue to inspire us all to care for one another, for in our unity and empathy lies the strength to change the world.